picture of a deadly pandemic. The grim reality of a COVID crisis which is bleeding across Russia. 1,200 deaths a day, the highest on record. The number of infections is soaring. And in a country which was one of the first to approve its own vaccine, less than half the population have actually been vaccinated. On the front line, doctors here deny being overwhelmed. But with the highest death toll in Europe, the figures suggest otherwise. And there is a gentle push to encourage take-up of the jab.
According to my experience, I can clearly say that the inoculated suffer a milder form of the disease.
In Austria, police check shoppers for proof of vaccination before allowing them to go about their daily lives. In a hugely controversial move, the unvaccinated are already in lockdown. The country has one of the highest infection rates, but one of the lowest levels of vaccination in Western Europe, just 66% of the population. But pressure is growing on the government to do more. It may be the first country on the continent to return to a full lockdown. Anger at new rules dividing the vaccinated from the unvaccinated saw thousands take to the streets of the Czech capital, Prague. Government restrictions put in place until February will mean people who haven't got proof of vaccination will no longer be able to get into bars or restaurants, hairdressers or other public spaces.
I came here to support the action against this messy government that differentiate between the vaccinated and the non-vaccinated.
The aim of the new measures, the government says, is to motivate people to get vaccinated. In Germany too, there is a similar push. The government now recommending booster shots for everyone over 18. The outgoing Chancellor is warning of difficult times ahead.
We always said we didn't want our health service to be overwhelmed. We know that we are no longer able to promise this nationwide. Luckily, there is still capacity in some places, but now it really, absolutely is time to act.
In the centre of Brussels, they press ahead with plans for Christmas, as elsewhere in Europe, events are already being cancelled. But the Prime Minister here warned just yesterday the COVID alarm signals are flashing red. Christmas may once again be shaped by the shadow of coronavirus.
Jackie Long reporting. Well, I've been talking with Dr. Richard Pebbody, who leads the high-threat pathogen team for the World Health Organization in Europe. I put to him that a few weeks ago it looked as if Europe was beginning to get on top of the situation, but now the numbers were looking alarming.
No, I mean, you're right. The numbers are not good. Unfortunately, the European region is once again really at the epicenter of the pandemic, with infection rates and deaths and hospitalizations rising very sharply, actually, in many countries. And I'm afraid, we are facing a rocky road ahead as we move into the winter period.
Recently, we've been thinking more about Holland, Netherlands generally, and Austria. But you're now saying, really, that this is a Europe-wide problem.
No, I am. Many countries have already seen very sharp increases in cases and deaths and hospitalizations, particularly in the eastern part of the region. And that really reflects the fact that in many of those countries, the vaccine uptake in priority groups has really not been very good, frankly, in many instances. We're now seeing countries now in Central and Western Europe seeing more rapid increases in cases. So countries such as Germany and Austria and their healthcare systems are now also starting to see some pressures. And clearly that is a concern.
Dr. Richard Pebbody, thank you very much indeed for talking with us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.